Have you ever wondered what differentiates your mind from your brain? It's a question that has puzzled philosophers, scientists, and curious minds alike for centuries. Let's delve into this fascinating distinction. Firstly, let's consider the brain. This physical organ, nestled within our skulls, is a marvel of nature. It's composed of billions of neurons, creating a complex network that's responsible for everything from our basic reflexes to our most profound thoughts. It's the control center of our bodies, managing everything from heartbeat and breathing to emotion and memory. But what about the mind? The mind, unlike the brain, is not a physical structure. It's an intangible entity, a sort of nebulous cloud that encompasses our thoughts, feelings, sensations, and consciousness. When we talk about the mind, we're referring to the rich tapestry of our inner world, the thoughts that flit through our consciousness, the emotions that color our experiences, and the sensations that connect us to the physical world. The mind, as we understand it, is not something you can touch or see. It's not something that can be measured or weighed. It's intangible, yet it is as real to us as the physical world around us. But here's the intriguing part. The mind is a product of the brain's complex activity. It's the result of countless neurons firing and communicating with one another. In other words, the brain, this tangible physical organ, gives rise to the intangible mind. It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it? So, while the brain is a tangible entity within our skulls, the mind is an intangible product of the brain's intricate workings. It's the difference between the physical and the non-physical, the seen and the unseen, the measurable and the immeasurable. This is the distinction that sets the brain and the mind apart, a distinction that continues to intrigue and challenge us as we delve deeper into the mysteries of human consciousness. How does the body influence the mind, and what role does the brain play in this interaction? This question takes us to the heart of the temporary envelope concept, a fascinating topic that blends science, philosophy, and a dash of mystery. The brain, a marvel of nature housed within our skulls, is the epicenter of our mental faculties. It's a complex network of neurons, the physical control center that enables everything from basic reflexes to profound thoughts. This tangible organ, with its squiggly contours and intricate pathways, is the platform on which the intangible mind operates. Our bodies are like vessels, temporary envelopes, if you will, within which our brains reside. The brain's physical presence within the body is not a simple matter of housing, but rather a necessity for the mind to function. The mind, with its thoughts, feelings, and consciousness, relies on the brain's complex activities to exist. But what happens when this vital organ, the brain, is damaged? The effects can be profound. A stroke, a traumatic injury, or a disease like Alzheimer's can significantly impair our mental abilities. Memory loss, challenges with decision-making, difficulty in concentrating, or even a change in personality. All these could result from damage to the brain. This tells us that the mind's existence and operation are closely tied to the brain's health and integrity. The brain is the foundation, the hardware, without which the software, the mind, cannot function. It's like trying to run a sophisticated computer program without the necessary hardware. It simply won't work. And yet, despite its reliance on the brain, the mind is a realm that extends beyond the physical. It encompasses our consciousness, our sense of self, and our ability to experience the world in a unique, subjective way. In conclusion, while the brain resides within the body, it's crucial for the mind's operation, and any harm to it can affect our mental abilities. The body is our temporary envelope, the physical vessel that houses the brain, which in turn gives rise to the mind, an intangible, profound, and complex entity. What about the soul? How does it fit into the picture? Now, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The term soul is a concept that often sends us spiraling into the realm of the metaphysical, a realm where science finds itself treading lightly. Across the globe, the interpretation of soul varies widely. For some, the soul is essentially synonymous with the mind. It's the seat of thoughts, feelings, and consciousness, an intangible entity that exists independently of the physical brain. This belief often accounts for the idea of life after death, where the soul, being separate from the body, continues its journey once the physical form ceases to be. However, there are also views that consider the soul and the mind as two distinct entities. In such philosophies, the soul is often seen as the eternal essence of a being, something that transcends the temporal confines of physical existence. It's believed to be the spiritual core, the real you that persists beyond the transitory nature of the mind and body. Yet despite these diverse interpretations and beliefs, science currently finds itself at a standstill when it comes to the soul. As of now, there's no objective way to prove the existence of a soul scientifically. Unlike the brain, which we can observe, measure, and study, the soul remains elusive. It's a concept that, while widely accepted, resides outside the tangible realm of scientific proof. This doesn't mean that the concept of the soul is any less significant. On the contrary, it profoundly shapes our understanding of life, death, and the nature of existence. It's a cornerstone of many religions and philosophies, guiding ethical frameworks and influencing our perception of the self. Thus, while the soul is a widely held concept, its existence and nature remain outside the realm of scientific proof. But isn't that the beauty of the enigmatic soul? It keeps us questioning, exploring, and delving deeper into the mysteries of existence. And who knows, one day we might just stumble upon the answers we seek. Does the physical body impose limitations on the mind's potential? This question prompts a fascinating exploration into the intricate relationship between our physical existence and our mental capacities. You see, the human body is a marvel of nature, a complex system of interconnected parts, each with its designated role. But it's not invincible. The body's health and well-being can significantly affect the brain, which in turn influences the mind's potential. Consider this. When you're feeling physically tired or ill, it's harder to think clearly or concentrate. That's because your brain, much like any other part of your body, relies on a stable, healthy environment to function optimally. A body that is under stress or suffering from illness can hamper the brain's capacity to perform its duties, thus restricting the mind's potential. But it's not just about health. The physical body also imposes limitations on the mind in terms of sensory input. Our sensory organs are the gateways through which our brain receives information about the world around us. Our eyes, ears, skin, nose, and tongue provide the raw data that the mind processes to create our perception of reality. Imagine a world where human beings had more than 5 senses. What if we could sense magnetic fields like birds, or detect vibrations like spiders? Our minds would process a vastly different reality, wouldn't they? But our physical bodies limit us to 5 senses, and therefore our minds are constrained by these limitations. In essence, the body serves as a vessel for the brain, and by extension, the mind. But this vessel is not without its limitations. It's susceptible to health issues, and its sensory capabilities are finite. These factors inevitably impose boundaries on what our minds can perceive and comprehend. So, to revisit our opening question, does the physical body impose limitations on the mind's potential? The answer is a resounding yes. Our physical bodies, with all their marvel and complexity, do indeed impose certain limitations on the mind's potential, largely through their impact on the brain's functionality. So what's the essence of all this, you might ask? Well, let's circle back to the core of our discussion. The mind, this intangible entity brimming with thoughts, feelings, sensations, and consciousness, is a product of the brain's intricate workings. Picture the brain as a sophisticated piece of hardware and the mind as its complex software. Any significant damage to this hardware can drastically affect the software's functionality. Now, let's turn our attention to the concept of a soul. It's a notion independent of the scientific understanding of the mind and brain. It's a term that swirls with various interpretations across cultures and philosophies. Some may see it as synonymous with the mind, while others view it as an entirely separate entity. As of now, science doesn't have the means to objectively prove or disprove the existence of a soul. It remains one of the many mysteries that continue to intrigue us. But the exploration doesn't end here. Far from it. The field of cognitive neuroscience is tirelessly working to uncover the connection between brain activity and mental processes. Every new discovery is a step closer to understanding the enigmatic relationship between the mind and the brain. Additionally, philosophers and scientists alike grapple with the mind-body problem, a philosophical conundrum that delves into the complex relationship between the mind and the physical body. It's a fascinating journey that probes questions like, what is consciousness? How does the immaterial mind interact with the material body? These queries keep the in understanding the brain's functions. The nature of consciousness in the mind remains an enthralling exploration, and the concept of the soul continues to intrigue us. Our journey into this vast realm of knowledge is far from over, and every new revelation only fuels our curiosity to delve deeper.